UAW strikes could end soon after Ford did reach a tentative deal with union workers. The proposal includes record pay raises with a 25% wage hike over 4.5 years, starting with an 11% initial increase. Joining us this morning to discuss is Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold. Good morning to you, Brandon. First, what's your take on this deal?
Well, it's encouraging that we're reaching a deal, or we appear to be reaching a deal. Of course, there's a long way to go. We're talking about a tentative deal with one manufacturer. We still have two other manufacturers that need to reach deals, and these deals need to be consummated. But of course, we have broader economic concerns about massive pay increases at a time when car prices are high and at a time when we already have wages that are higher for UAW employees than our international competitors. So is this going to hurt our ability for a U.S. manufacturer to sell cars and trucks abroad? That's a big concern as we look at the broader economic picture.
And you just nailed it, because increased wage prices right now inevitably passed on to the customer, which in the case of the car industry really could be disastrous right now. Car payment default rates hit the highest point in just 29 years. For a used car right now, the average price is about $27,000. So with an interest rate of 12%, talk about how that translates into a monthly payment, especially when you consider the median take-home pay.
Consumers are absolutely getting walloped here when you're talking about these extraordinarily high interest rates combined with a scarcity of cars, which is, of course, exacerbated by this strike. You could be looking at a payment of $600, $700 just for a modest vehicle to get you to and from work. Nothing fancy here, a run-of-the-mill vehicle. When you take that into consideration, the median worker is making about $3,300 with take-home pay. After you add a car payment in of $600, $700, rent payment of $2,000 or so, you're taking a huge chunk out of your paycheck each and every month before you even consider food, gasoline, clothing, utilities, all of these other expenses. So it's no wonder that a lot of working class Americans are struggling in this economy. It is really, really tough to get by.
The economy's in trouble when driving to work has become cost prohibitive. That's just thinking about $700 car payment and you're making $3,300 a month. That's outrageous. President Biden has been pushing electric vehicles. Those are priced well over $50,000, though, making them really unrealistic, even with that $7,500 tax credit. So what should the White House instead be focusing on for the sake of the economy and American people?
This is Biden's Marie Antoinette moment. Let them drive EVs here. But like you said, EVs can be twice the cost of a normal used vehicle. For somebody who's struggling to get by, they're not a realistic option. Yet Biden is pushing $12 billion to try to convert current manufacturing capacity over to EV production capacity. It simply doesn't make sense. We need to bring more cars online. We need to have incentives to manufacture things in the United States, lowering the cost of production with lower tariffs, better tax policy. Let's encourage more production of vehicles domestically. That additional supply will lower costs. That's going to help consumers afford to get to work, which is something we fundamentally need to do, but we've lost sight of somehow in pursuit of these broader environmental goals.
Meantime, credit card default rates, the highest we've seen in more than 10 years. Brandon, as we close out a really rough 2023, what is your prediction on these rates?
It's really brutal out there. We're seeing over $1 trillion in credit card balances collectively for Americans right now. People can't afford to make those day-to-day expenses, so they're having to max out credit cards. We're starting to see the default rates increase. As you already mentioned, auto default rates are increasing. The silver lining here is we haven't seen mortgage rate defaults increase significantly. Those have actually been going down. That is a silver lining here, but we have a really uncertain economy. I believe if consumer spending starts to taper off, which is probably pretty likely, that we could be heading into a recession. I hope I'm wrong here. I try to be optimistic, but there are a lot of signs out there that the economy is in for some rough times.
Yeah. All right. Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you.